Good afternoon, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I am your host, Blind Prime, and for today I have for you Transformers Legacy Bulkhead. Here he is in all of his big, bulky brotherhood of glory. Look at this guy is massive. I have to say I really like him. He is the most fun next to Blaster that I'm getting out of Legacy. Then again, I don't have many things out of Legacy, but Bulkhead and Blaster, holy crap! You know what? I don't do this very often, and actually, I don't think I ever do this. But today is going to be a special day. And where are you at? Where are you at? Is that you? Ah, there you are. Okay, cool. So here is Blaster from Legacy, and we're going to compare the two next to each other before we go more in depth into this thing. Their shoulders kind of line up. Bulkhead, stand up straight. All right. Blaster is still bigger than Bulkhead. You know what? This surprises me. I wouldn't have known this if I hadn't actually just done this, but even though Bulkhead feels the way he does, Blaster is still bigger than him. And Blaster just still feels nicer in some ways. And we're going to talk about that. But there you go. There's your Blaster Bulkhead comparison. Blaster is one hell of a figure. If you had to choose between Blaster and Bulkhead at the store, I recommend the Blaster every day of the week. Get that one first. You're gonna love it. All right, let's get into Bulkhead here. So Bulkhead has he comes with some accessories, and all of them are really amazing. So right here we got the Bumblebee for our measurements, and Bumblebee is sporting Bulkhead's shield. Now Bumblebee actually stands just above Bulkhead's waist and below the edge of the vehicle mode. So where Blaster kind of stood over Bulkhead by half a head, Bumblebee here stands under Bulkhead by at least another Bumblebee. Let's see, one more Bumblebee up. Two Bumblebees maybe taller than Bulkhead, but one definitely not. He's about as tall as Bulkhead's legs. But even the shield in Bumblebee's hands makes Bumblebee, look. This is a massive shield for Bumblebee, and that's kind of the reason why I wanted to showcase the shield with Bumblebee. Is just with Bulkhead you lose sight of how big this shield is, but with Bumblebee here you're just like, holy crap. So we'll set Bumblebee off to the side, and we'll move into Bulkhead and his other accessories. We'll move into his height, and then we'll discuss the accessories, including the shield. So let's get into the height first. There we go. All right, boom. Okay, so Bulkhead is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 studs tall. He isn't the tallest Voyager. We've just seen that he isn't with the showcase of Blaster. But, he isn't the shortest Voyager either. He is pretty nice size as Voyagers go. And he's pretty cool. He does have quite a mix of plastics, though. There's at least 4 different types of plastic in this guy. He's definitely a composite bot. We have the accessories, and we'll talk about them now. And then I'm going to get into the plastics of him, and talking about the accessory plastics as well. So, to remove the boulder from his hand, you just got to find the hinge, which is hidden in some blast effect ports, or some siege ports. And that means that those 2 siege ports are actually left inoperable. They have to contain a little extra space for the locks to lock into place, and that means you can't even Dremel them out, unless you want to ruin the ability for the boulder hand to actually lock into place. The boulder hand does come with 3, it has 5 siege ports on it, but only 3 are useful. Only 3 can be utilized at all. And the shield here doesn't have any siege ports on it, but it does have some pegs. It's got 4 siege pegs on it, 1 on one side of the shield, and 2 on another side of the shield, on the interior of the shield, which is the exterior of the robot mode, the vehicle mode, and 1 siege peg that is on a hinge, like the sword that came with Rodimus Prime. So that peg can actually move to either side of the shield, so Bumblebee could actually hold the shield in any way, in either direction that he wanted. And because that siege peg is on a hinge, it allows Bumblebee to have some movement here, or anyone else. So the shield can actually bend up like that, and Bumblebee can hold it to his side. and arms straight down. But because Bumblebee doesn't have any access to like twist his, move his hands up or down, having the ability for that peg to move up and down gives it a neat little piece of articulation, which means that Bumblebee can hold the shield out further away from his body and still allow his arm to bend and stuff, which is really nice. This is a very well engineered shield. It's got three parts, center part and then the two flappy parts on either side, which can make the shield wide, or you can close them in partly, or you can close them in entirely. That's a really cool, versatile accessory. And we'll move on to the Gatling gun, where the shield is made out of mostly the plastic that I remember from Earthrise. The barrel, the boulder hand, is made out of the plastic that is commonly associated with Cyclonus and Blaster and Rodimus Prime. That good stuff. That good shiny plastic that's sturdy. And then the gun here is made out of clear plastic, so it's a third plastic entirely. Oh, and the peg that's on this shield is made out of another plastic. So in the accessories alone, we've got 4 different types of plastic going on. And the clear plastic they've used for this gun, I think, is a new type of clear plastic because it doesn't feel like the old clear plastics. It feels sturdier, it feels stronger, and it makes a different noise. So that's really neat. Oh, and the gun has some really nice detailing at the barrels. Each barrel has molded in detail, and the molded in detail goes down the entire length of the gun barrel until it gets to the wider segment, where it has a siege port on each side and a siege peg at the bottom to hold on to. And it's even got tinier siege ports or siege pegs on either side towards the end of the gun where you can plug in some blast effects. And yeah, most part, this is just a very well molded gun. They did a great job with the molding on this guy. They went out of their way with it. So now let's talk about the guy right here. So each of the, we'll discuss siege ports first. So each of his arms has got 3, so that's 6. His back has 1 siege port, so that's 7. And then each of his legs has 6 by themselves. So that makes it 19. He has got 19 siege ports. 6 of them, though, are on wheels, so they tend to just kind of fluctuate. Let me get the gun here and showcase that. So, where you would want the gun on this shoulder facing forwards or maybe up, the gun's always going to face down. It's going to face wherever gravity wants that gun to go. I guess it could be a nice gravity test. If gravity in your room fluctuates or anything, you could just watch the gun barrel move around. But I doubt that happens. So it is an option, though. Molding on this guy, when it comes to like joints and stuff, it's really tight. He's got a very tight elbow that moves further than a 90, and it's on both arms. He's got about 90-degree movement upwards on the shoulders. There is a bit of a butterfly because of the way the transformation works, but not much of one. And because of what plastic they used on the back for the arm mechanism for the transformation, plastic's that Earthrise stuff that I think is a little more fragile and could break easier. So I wouldn't recommend detaching the arms from their spots in the front of the cab for your bulkhead. Though the rest of the arm does seem to be made out of that nice plastic from Kingdom, the Blaster, and the Rodimus is made out of, and the Cyclonus. It's that good stuff. His fists are the same way. And we'll move into the core of his body here, where we've got some really nice molding. We've got some, there are windshield wipers molded in there, and there's a nice bumper molded in, and all of this front area is apparently just made out of clear plastic. It's still a different type of plastic than what we're used to. It's not the same clear plastic that I think they used in Bumblebee here. No, I don't think that's the same clear plastic. I think this is a new type of clear plastic. Or it's a new mixture of clear. I don't know. It feels stronger. And here's where a QC problem occurred. See, on the left-hand side, we've got a perfectly molded in rear view mirror on the side of the vehicle, right around where the driver's side door would be. On the right-hand side, we've got that molding for a windshield, but it went over a little bit, over the front of the windshield just a bit, and then it spread down to the back a bit more to make it look more like a corner armor that you would put those rubber corner armors around the corners of your house when you have toddlers, so that they don't bang their heads in the corners of doors. That's what it feels like, or that corner molding that you get on shopping carts. And that's definitely a flaw with the molding. A little too much plastic went in there. So that's a small QC problem that my figure has. And moving on down to the legs, the waist has a good rotation. You get a nice 360-degree rotation. The legs kick out very well, and it's a sturdy joint. They kick back. Each of these is the kick out is 90. The kick back is more than 90, and almost 100. And what I really like most about this big heavy figure is that the side to side movement of the hip joints is very tight. And I appreciate the fact that this guy isn't going to be doing the splits randomly on my shelf at 3 in the morning, knocking things over, waking me up from a deep sleep, and scaring the crap out of me. Uh, yeah, it's just wow. I really like this guy. I can't help but I keep picking him up and transforming him. His transformation is fun. I will be talking about the transformation in my Blindformers video coming up tomorrow, so please tune in for that. And yeah, for the most part, this guy's done. I really, really like him. I think he's an amazing addition to the Generations line. He fits very well into my collection. He's not the tallest Voyager, but he is definitely one of the beefier ones. He definitely wins out on bulkiness, which is something that I hoped they would get with Bulkhead, is a bulky figure. And that's what we get here, is a nice bulky figure that, personally speaking, I think is worth the change to get it. I think it's worth it. But that's just my own biased opinion when it comes to this. As a blind person, there's a lot going on here, and I appreciate that. It's not just smooth textures everywhere. It's got this guy's got some. He's got class. He's got a story to tell as you feel all these little bumps and bruises and stuff. It's really nice, and yeah, I think I've blathered on enough about Bulkhead's robot mode for today. Please tune in tomorrow. We will talk about Blindformers, and the day after that, we will be going over Bulkhead's vehicle mode, which may be my favorite vehicle mode in Generations that I've gotten so far. I absolutely love it. Please tune in, and I will go over it in depth with you because it's a lot of fun. Bye bye for now.